Hey guys, Tbull here. Today we got a game in the North Carolina for you. It's going to be an illustration of the problem that exists with World of Warships Legends and has existed since day one. The game is not designed to allow the people playing it to have a basic, fundamental, beginner level of competency in terms of understanding the game and getting better at it. Okay. Now, basically every single person who's watching this, you're doing what you need to do to learn how to play this game. You need to realize, number one, that something's off. You don't really understand it. And number two, there's nothing in the game to tell me how to play it. I'm going to go online and see how the game actually works, right? So you can come to my channel. There's plenty of other YouTube channels. There's the World of Warships wiki. There's other websites like Reddit that have information of varying degrees. And by undertaking that journey, and all of you have at least begun to do so, and there's a lot of brand new players watching this channel right now, you guys already have a massive advantage over the rest of the people, okay? And yes, after thousands of games, these guys can grind out some semblance of knowledge and understanding, but it takes a long time. It's not inherently obvious. Why am I constantly being blown up? One of my most common comments from new players, sometimes they're accusing the game of being rigged or whatever, but they're saying, oh man, I shoot the battleship, I do 2,000 damage. He shoots me, he does 20,000 damage. What's going on here? Oh, he's shooting you in the side, you're shooting him in the front of the ship. It's easy. I know exactly what the problem is. And if you understand arm wrangling, then you would know what the problem is and you would be able to fix it. Okay? But that information is not in the game. Nowhere does it say, here's how arm wrangling works. Nowhere does it say, don't shoot your AP shells at most destroyers. We're going to see that later on here with the heroes of this match displaying all the common, symptoms of unwillful ignorance. They just haven't made the decision to go off of the game and learn how to play it, right? So this is a game where we should very easily win, but new players will end our chances. Now, what's the solution to this? Commonly or historically, the proposed solution by the player base is give us a tutorial. And there was a tutorial in World of Tanks, and maybe it takes an hour or two. I can't remember. It's been a while since I did the World of Tanks tutorial. And you probably figure out some of it. But I, as a World of Tanks player, played the tutorial, and then I proceeded to be an absolute potato for a long time until I realized something was wrong. Went online, found people who knew how to play the game, and then I quickly became a much better player just by learning fundamentals, tank roles, and so on and so forth. That's what's lacking here. We got destroyers who don't cap bases. All they try and do is torp. That's not understanding the ship role. Okay, battleships that think, okay, I'm going to park as far back as possible, and if I don't take any damage, I ain't going to have to pay his service costs this round. Fundamental misunderstanding on many levels, horrible strategy, bad player to have on your team. Cruisers, okay, well, maybe I should just charge in the cap, maybe try and torp a battleship. If I die, I die. No big deal. No, you're the highest damage dealing class of ship on your team. Stay alive, do the damage over the course of the match. None of this is explained, and it needs to be. Okay? I commend all you guys for taking the time to learn how to play the game. My channel is, has had the success it has because there basically aren't any options in the game to learn how to play it. So I appreciate all you guys tuning in the channel and saying, hey, let's try and learn some more about this game. And that's cool. And it doesn't even have to be advanced knowledge or advanced level knowledge that's going to be contained within the game to teach these people, but basic type of thing. Okay, so tutorial, that's the proposed solution by the player base. The response from Wargaming is it takes too long, it's too resource intensive, and by the way, we have the metrics from the other games that we've put them in, and 5% of the people bother to interact with it in any meaningful way. Ergo, it's a waste of time. To which I say, fair enough. So tutorial isn't the answer. What is? Well, anyone who's old enough to remember back in the day, whenever you bought a video game, there was always an instruction manual. Think back to NES, Super Nintendo 64, Nintendo 64, those genre systems. PC back in the day certainly did. And it explained everything. It explained the controls. It explained, the enemies you would come across. It would give you a map of the whole game. It would explain what the weapons do, everything. Okay, and that's, maybe it took a little time for them to prepare, maybe not, but it made the game much more interesting and fruitful in terms of interacting with it. I actually know what I'm playing. If I sit down and play chess, but I have no idea how to do it, yeah, maybe I can make some horsey noises while galloping around the checkered board, but am I actually playing chess or not? Well, if I sit down with a person who's understands the rules, understands the strategy, and they're playing with me, maybe they'll humor me for a game or two and say, okay, this guy's something's going on with him, but cool, we'll humor him. After a while, they're going to say, God, I ain't playing with this guy. This sucks. He's not even playing chess. He's not playing the same game I am. And, what's the point? I got better things to do with my time. I'll rearrange my sock drawer, watch paint dry, etc. Okay, much more fruitful activities than playing a game with a group of people who aren't playing the same game as you are. Okay, so let's get some information into the game. We can either put a tab at the top, instructions. Okay, here's a destroyer, here's how torpedoes work, here's how aiming works, here's how shell selection works, here's what armor wrangling is, here's penetration mechanics. Put it in the game, okay? Or if we don't want to do that, well, the solution that I've been proposing for a while now here, and it seems like people are getting on board, put in loading screen tips, okay? I'm not a Rust player, but I like to watch the game Rust on YouTube. And a while back, a couple months ago, I downloaded it just to check it out. After thinking about it for 2 minutes, I'm like, okay, this is a very time-intensive game. I ain't going to play it. But what I did notice by playing it for an hour or so is when you load into the game, rapid-fire loading screens. The game takes a minute to load in. Every 5 seconds, there's a new loading screen that's got a bunch of information on it. Okay, so if I keep playing the game over a course of time, I'm going to naturally read through the entirety of this thing, and I'll just pick up tips. Like, okay, here's what this item does. Here's basically the goal of the game. All right, how does domination scoring work? All right, it's not inherently obvious when you first start playing the game, and it took me quite a while to really get the hang of it, but I had to look into it. You can accelerate your learning by actually going to sources where that information is contained. Playing the game, well, which are we, the blue team or the red team? And not inherently obvious. You could probably figure it out after a little bit. Why are we getting 3 points why are we getting 2 sets of 3 points every 5 seconds? Why do we just lose 47 points there? What's going on? There's a lot going on with the scoring here. I don't understand it. Well, figure it out. Put the information in the game. All right, so loading screen tips or just an instruction manual section. And here's the kicker. All right, I said to them when I was talking about this to them, Wargaming on our community contributor thing, let us, the community contributors, we'll write the 25 loading screens or whatever. We'll write them down. You copy and paste them, put them in the game. Shouldn't take that much effort. I wouldn't think. I'm not a programmer. Don't know anything about it. But seems to me that we could get people to do the legwork. We could get the dedicated player base to, propose a bunch of them on the Reddit. Submit 100 different loading screens. The community can vote on 25, 50 of them, whatever it is, that they would think would actually teach the game to these new players. And once, a baseline of understanding exists in this game, now the fun factor goes way up. All right. Now, I've been covering this game for over 3 years. I've seen a lot of players come. I've seen a lot of players go. There's some like me who have stuck it out since launch. There's a lot of guys, a lot of good players who have left the game, and they'll talk to me and they say it's not worth playing anymore. I get sick of doing this. The teams get worse and worse. They don't know what they're doing out there. What's the point? And I totally understand it. There's certain days where maybe I'll say, hey, I'm going to play this game for a little while here, load into a couple matches, and I'm like, oh God, I ain't got time for this. And that feeling happens to everyone. Some days it's great, we had a stream on last Sunday, a couple days ago, 3 cracking stream. I think we won 11 out of 18 or 13 out of 18, something like that, and had good teammates. You can have really fun sessions, and when you do, the game's outstanding. And that's why we do our members streams every month, where we basically do advanced count-ins with using the universal clock. We get a lot of members loading into the games at the same time. These are channel members. If you're interested in being a channel member, of course, you can hit the join button or link in the description. It says support the channel. You can join that way. But these are inevitably 100% of the time the best games that we all play of the month. And everybody always agrees with it, and it's awesome. It's because we can get anywhere from almost everybody on the board who at least understands how to play the game and is trying to win the game, or at least you're getting a critical mass, usually at least half the people on your team, and we might get splintered off in 2 or 3 different games, but still the critical mass is there, and we wind up having these amazing games with tight finishes and entertaining value across the board. Okay, and that's just what the game could be. All right, every time we do this, it's the realization hits you, man, this game is amazing if only you could get a set of players that were actually playing it at just a baseline competency, just understanding, oh, I have to capture the bases. That's the objective of the game. Not parking on the moon, not nuking the carrier with your destroyer who hasn't done anything for 14 minutes except for sink the carrier. Horrible plays, but there's a lot of players out there that think these are the objectives of the game. Oh, I don't want to get shot in the battleship. I got this cool paint job on here. Don't want it to get scratched. Well, you can play the game that way, but you're not playing the same game as the rest of us. So I think we need to. And by the way, Wargaming did respond to me when I said, let's get these loading screens going here. They said it is in the queue. It's on the back burner. Whether they have the same idea in terms of implementation as I do or not, who knows? But I think we need to start asking instead of, oh, let's put a cap on destroyers or HE spammers. Oh, it makes me sad. Let's start giving them constructive feedback. Hey, let's put the instructions in the game. Let's put baseline information in the game so that everybody playing it at least has the option to learn it. You don't have to force people. And I understand a lot of people just want to play the game casually. They're going to drink 13, 14 beers, and they want to play a couple games while they're getting blackout drunk. That's fine. Everybody has that option, and I have no problem with doing that. But for the players that want to learn how to play the game, but either they don't have the time or the idea hasn't hit them, oh, maybe the information's not in the game, maybe I should go look elsewhere. Those are the guys we want to help, okay? And you can identify new players who are trying to play the game, but they just don't understand what they're doing quite yet. And those are the guys that you can say to yourself, man, that guy's going to be a good player if he sticks with it. Hopefully I'll see him again on my team down the road. But then there's a lot of these guys who are, oh, I'm in a destroyer, all I'm going to do is torp battleships. Well, you're not going to get better. You're not trying to play the game. So let's just get the information in there. So I'll do it in a polite way, but I think we need to, instead of asking for, just start asking for the instructions in the game. And what is this play here? Why does this game set me off? Because I'm driving the Flander off. We have a 2-cap lead. We have an over 100 point lead, which means I can die. We'll still be in the winning section of the game here. He's got 3 minutes to turn around, flip the cap, and then win on score, which he can't physically do. So all this destroyer has to do is not shoot. Okay, instead of shooting AP at an angled battleship, don't shoot for 3 minutes, man. Don't do it. Well, too much to ask. Either he doesn't know how to play the game or he doesn't care. Okay, if he doesn't care, there's nothing we can do about it. If he doesn't know how to play the game, it's incumbent upon the developer to give him the option to easily learn. All right, and that requires the information to be contained in the game, accessible to everyone. So, pretty good game here. We would have had about a 3,000 point game if we would have survived. I know we weren't covering the game that much, but at this point in time, it's impossible for me to win because they'll hit me for 116 damage by the time the game ends. Whereas it would have been an easy win if the destroyer understood his role and the strategy. So that's a look at the North Carolina for you guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. New to the channel, consider subscribing. Lots of World of Warships coming for you all the time. Questions, comments, leave them below. Love to hear from you, and we'll see y'all there. Peace.